They called me a miracle. Now I'm just meat on a hospital bed. My feet have grown into the steel frame of this bed. The skin healed over the bars years ago. At first, the pain was a constant screaming fire in my ankles, but now it's just a dull, permanent ache. A reminder that I'm rooted to this place. I don't get infections. I don't get sick. My body just accepts the foreign object, weaves flesh and bone around it, and makes it part of me. I used to think I was just lucky. As a kid, I was the one who would fall out of a tree and get up laughing while my friends were crying with scraped knees and broken arms. I never caught the flu, never had a single cavity. Doctors vaccinating me would frown and comment on my dense tissue, having to jab the needle in hard and pull it out quick before my skin tried to seal around it. I never got drunk, never got high. My body just processed everything, metabolized it, and discarded it in minutes. I was just Zane, the guy with a cast iron constitution. Then came the accident. I was 22, driving home on a rain-slicked highway. A semi-truck hydroplaned. I remember the screech of tires, the impossible crumpling of my car's frame around me, and then a bright, white silence. I came to, pinned against a guardrail, the steering column embedded in my chest. I watched, in a state of shock that felt strangely distant, as my own ribs cracked and knitted themselves back together. The flow of blood from a gash on my forehead slowed, stopped, and the skin pulled itself shut like a zipper. The paramedics who cut me out of the wreckage just stood there with their mouths open. The news crews arrived just in time to film me taking my first step away from the car that should have been my coffin. They called me a miracle. I knew better. Back home, my hands shaking, I tested it. I took a paring knife from the kitchen block and drew it across my palm. It hurt like hell. But the line of red welled up and then vanished. The skin was smooth, perfect, not even a ghost of a scar. The world found out. Not because I was smart, but because I was young and terrified and stupid. I went to the nearest hospital, walked into the emergency room, and in front of everyone, I dislocated my own shoulder with a sickening pop. Before the first nurse could even scream, I gritted my teeth, and they all watched as the joint slid back into place under my skin. I became a phenomenon overnight. The Phoenix Man, they called me. I was on every morning show, every news channel, and for a while, it was good. I had O-negative blood, the universal donor. The Red Cross set me up in a comfortable suite. My full-time job became lying on a couch, playing video games, while a gentle-faced nurse named Anja swapped out the full blood bags hanging from my arm. We had to develop a system. My body would heal around the IV needle in minutes, so we'd have to slice the skin open again to get it out. Eventually, I just told them to leave it in. It was easier. One day, Anja came to me with tears in her eyes. Her son, Kieran, was 8. His kidneys were failing. She asked me, her voice trembling, if I would be willing. We didn't know if my ability extended to whole organs. I had a crush on her. I said yes. The surgery was a nightmare for the doctors. They told me later my body fought the anesthesia so hard they had to keep me on a constant, heavy drip. The biggest problem was the incision. They had to assign a junior surgeon to do nothing but continuously scrape the edges with a scalpel, just to keep my body from healing shut while they were still working. But it was a success. Kieran got my kidney. I was home by evening, hooked back up to the blood bags. The next morning, a scan confirmed it. I had 2 perfectly healthy kidneys again. Not even a scar. That's when Dr. Eris Thorne came into my suite. He was the hospital's chief of surgery, a man with a face carved from granite and eyes that saw everything as a problem to be solved. A 12-year-old girl, Elodie, he said, not wasting time with pleasantries. She needs a new heart. She has maybe a month. I didn't even hesitate. My heart. The idea was terrifying. What if it didn't grow back? But the image of a little girl fading away in a hospital bed, how could I say no? I saved her life. At the end of the day, we both had strong, beating hearts in our chests. They didn't let me go home that night, or the next. Dr. Thorne said it was a precaution, a quarantine to study the effects of such a traumatic regeneration. They were kind at first. They brought me food from my favorite restaurants, any movie I wanted to watch. But the door was always locked. Nurses and doctors came and went, always talking about the good I was doing, about the lives I was saving. They were so persuasive. They made me feel like a god, a messiah in a hospital gown. Just one more, they'd say. A liver for a father of 3. A lung for a college student. Just one more. I agreed. I kept agreeing until the surgeries started blurring together. They became more efficient. They'd take a kidney, a piece of my liver, and some skin grafts all at once. They'd draw blood while I was on the table. Then came the day they stopped using full anesthesia. They gave me just enough paralytic to keep me from thrashing. I was awake for all of it. I could feel the cold slice of the scalpel, the grotesque sensation of gloved hands rummaging inside my torso, pulling out organs like they were picking fruit. I could hear them talking over me, discussing their weekend plans while I was being disassembled. That was when I fought back. The moment the paralytic wore off, I ripped the IV from my arm and lunged for the door. An alarm blared. Orderlies swarmed me. I felt a sharp prick in my neck, and the world went dark. I woke up to the smell of ozone and burnt meat, and a pain so absolute it transcended screaming. They had heated the steel bars at the foot of my bed until they glowed cherry red, forced them through my ankles, and held them there. I watched, helpless, as my body did what it was designed to do. It stopped the bleeding, it cooled the metal, and it healed. It grew new skin, new muscle, new bone, fusing me permanently to the bed frame. That was the end of Zane. Now, I am only the resource. Day after day, they roll me into the operating theater. The team doesn't talk to me anymore, just about me. The tissue quality is excellent today. Let's harvest the left lung, it's fully regenerated. They stopped stitching me up. It was a waste of supplies. They just leave the cavity open, a gaping red maw in my abdomen that slowly, wetly, closes on its own over a few hours. My room is a biohazard. The blinds are permanently shut. They took my TV, my books. They must have realized I was watching the people outside, and they didn't want me damaging my valuable eyes. I live in a perpetual, antiseptic twilight, the only sound, the hum of the ventilator I don't need, and the squelch of my own body mending itself. Have you ever smelled your own liver? It has a coppery, gamey scent when it's fresh. Have you ever seen your own heart still twitching in a stainless steel bowl? God, what did I do to deserve this? I don't know what year it is. I mark the seasons by the pathetic little gestures they offer. A stale candy bar near Halloween, a tiny plastic tree in December. I am their dirty secret, their perpetual miracle. I am the reason this hospital has a 0-person transplant waiting list. I am the source. Then, about a year ago, I think, it got worse. I was on the table, staring at the reflection of my own evisceration in the surgical lap above, when I overheard something new. Think the board will approve the new initiative? One of the younger surgeons asked. Dr. Thorne didn't look up from his work. It's not an initiative, it's a protein source. And it's not a matter of approval. Do you think a starving child in a famine zone cares where the ration pack comes from? I felt a new kind of pain then. Not the familiar tearing and cutting, but something sharp and serrated. A bone saw. I looked down in time to see them hacking through my thigh. A geyser of blood erupted for a second before the stump cauterized itself with a sickening hiss of healing flesh. They did the other one. Then my arms. They threw the limbs into a portable freezer unit. Now, it is a routine. They take my legs once a day, my arms twice. They are less valuable, regenerating faster, but my gift is starting to fray at the edges. My body can only be pushed so far. Without proper nutrition, the healing slows, and the constant, relentless trauma is leaving errors in the code. I waited for my left arm to grow back fully before I started writing this, but it's not right. The hand is too small, like a child's hand attached to a man's wrist, and my right pinky finger is just gone. It didn't grow back this time. There's just a smooth, sealed stump where it should be. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm typing this on a phone I managed to lift from a new nurse, a kind one who still saw a person in this bed and got too close. This is my one and only chance. They will find out I have this. They will take it, and they will make sure I never get another. They've harvested every organ they can reach. They've butchered me for meat. But there's one part of me they've never touched, my brain. They wouldn't dare risk damaging the system that controls the regeneration. And that is my only hope. I know this is a selfish thing to ask. I am a fountain of life for thousands of people. I have given everything. My blood, my organs, my flesh, my freedom, my sanity. I think I've earned one thing for myself. I need to know if I can die. So please, if you work in the medical field, if you can get into this hospital, ask for the organ donor. The permanent resident, they'll know who you mean. They'll bring you to me. Don't try to free me. Don't try to save me. Just bring a gun. Put it to my temple and pull the trigger. Either I'll finally know peace, or I'll know for certain that there is no escape. Either way, it will be a kind of freedom. Please, don't hesitate. Just shoot me.